War is not only fought on battlefields, it also leaves scars on hearts, destroys families, and changes destinies forever. Amid the ruins of the Second World War, in an abandoned villa in Italy, four strangers came together. Each carried pain, secrets, and memories they could not escape. At the center of it all was a dying man burned, nameless, and known only as the English Patient. This is not just his story. It is the story of love and betrayal, of war and forgiveness, of how memory can haunt and heal. And above all, it is the story of a love so powerful that even death could not silence it. During the final days of the war, a young nurse named Hannah chose to stay behind in a broken villa to care for her last patient. The man was burned beyond recognition, his body broken, his face unidentifiable. No one knew who he really was, but everyone called him the English Patient. Hannah read to him, fed him, and watched over him. She had lost her father, her friends, and countless patients, but she could not abandon this man. To her, he was more than just a patient. He was a reason to continue. Soon others joined them. Caravaggio, a thief turned spy, arrived at the villa. He was scarred and bitter, his hands mutilated, but his sharp eyes suspected the patient's true identity. Then came Kip, a young Indian soldier and bomb diffuser, whose steady hands saved lives every day. With Hannah, he found moments of love in the silence of the villa. But the mystery of the English Patient grew deeper. Slowly, in weak whispers, he revealed his past. He was not English at all. He was Count Lszld Almasi, a Hungarian explorer who had once lived in the deserts of North Africa. He told of his desert expeditions, of maps and mountains, and of the day he met Geoffrey Clifton and his wife Catherine. Geoffrey was warm and open, but Catherine was sharp, curious, and restless. Almasi and Catherine began with arguments, but the desert softened them. In the silence of sandstorms and the glow of starlit nights, anger turned to passion. They began a secret love affair, burning, forbidden, irresistible. But secrets never stay hidden. Geoffrey discovered their affair. In a desperate act, he crashed his plane with Catherine on board, killing himself instantly and leaving her gravely wounded. Almasi carried her to a cave decorated with ancient paintings. He promised to return with help, but war swallowed him. He was arrested as a spy, imprisoned, and delayed. By the time he escaped, Catherine was gone. In her notebook was a letter, her final words of love and sorrow. Almasi never recovered. He tried to take her body away in a plane, but it was shot down. The crash burned his body and destroyed his face. That is how he became the nameless, faceless patient, now lying in Hannah's care. Back in the villa, Caravaggio accused him of betrayal. But Almasi replied that the only thing he ever betrayed was nations and rules for the sake of love. "I loved a woman," he whispered. "That was my only crime." Soon after, news reached them of Hiroshima, the atomic bomb that destroyed an entire city. Kip, who had spent his life saving people from bombs, was shaken. He felt betrayed by the very West he had served. One morning, he left the villa on his motorbike. Leaving Hannah behind with unspoken love, the patient grew weaker, his end near. He asked Hannah to read Catherine's final letter. Her trembling voice carried words of love, forgiveness, and eternity. As she finished, the English patient smiled faintly. With the memory of Catherine in his heart, he closed his eyes forever. The villa grew silent again. Caravaggio moved on. Kip disappeared into the world. Hannah packed her bags, carrying with her not just grief, but the story of a man who had once loved with all his soul. The English Patient is not just a story of war. It is a story of love that defied borders, of memory that refused to fade, and of wounds that time could never heal. In the ruins of a villa, Hannah discovered that even in death, love can burn brighter than life itself. Almasi's story reminds us that nations rise and fall, wars begin and end, but love, true love, lives on forever in memory. And so, in the silence of the desert, among the stars that never die, the English Patient is no longer nameless. He is a man whose love conquered even the cruelty of war. Asterisk. Thanks for watching. If you really like the story, please do like, share, subscribe, comment. On my channel, World Stories, see you on the next video.